I could see, like, because, like, yeah, like, yesterday, like...
Good afternoon, Muttonistas. It's the Primemutton here. I've just been on a 2-month tour of Asia, and in fact, I haven't actually got back home yet. Obviously, I'm not in Asia now. I've moved on to greener pastures, and I'm in Dublin, Ireland. I know you boys and girls have been a bit thirsty over those 2 months I've been away in Asia, so I have a stout and porter laden bonanza today. I have in the past brought you vlogs from Dublin about Guinness, a lot of content there. Also vlogs about Beamish, which I do love. But today, another type of beverage, another type of stout that you're probably familiar with but isn't associated with Dublin, Murphy's. I'm going to give you some independent stouts as well, so join me today for this hodgepodge of Murphy's and independent stouts that you can find in Dublin. Okay, Muttonistas, the first pub, and I'm going to be doing 4 pubs, might squeeze a 5th in, although I do a pint for Instagram in each pub as well as a pint for this YouTube reel. So if I have 2 different stouts, I'll try and bring you a bit of the second pint as well. But we're at the Cobblestone now, which is behind me, famous for its live music, but on one of my tours of Dublin, they actually served me up the best Guinness I had on that tour. I'm not saying it's the best Guinness here ever anywhere, but it is a mighty fine pint, an absolute creamer. But today, Muttonistas, I want to go in and see what else they have to offer here. Okay, Muttonistas, here we go. It's been so long since I had a good pint of stout. Had some reasonably good ones in Asia, but I've actually started off with something called Stag Stout from the White Deer Brewery in Cork. Apparently only 3 places in Dublin have it on tap, and this is one of them, so I'm hoping for good things. The last time I had a pint of this, it was in Limerick at a craft beer bar, and it wasn't good. I could tell it wouldn't be good because of the spots on the top of the pint. The head was bad, everything looked bad. But this looks good, and this, Muttonistas, is a pub of the highest repute. Oh yeah, miles better, miles better. Wouldn't quite call it an absolute creamer, Muttonistas, but a creamer it is. And for those of you with gluten problems, it is gluten-free. Very good bet for you. What a cracking start to the vlog. I have been missing this in those 2 months in Asia. So, as I said, this is miles better than the pint I had in Limerick at that craft beer bar. In fairness to them, they weren't really a bar where you drink stout. But I'm going to have to compare this to the Guinness to give a full and fair comparison. I'm going to have a Guinness for my Instagram review. Obviously, I take the head off the first soap on Instagram because I'm not a superman who can drink like 15 pints and review. I mean, this is a very solid choice. Look at the cream on the side of the glass. It is creamy. However, what I would say is that it could do with a little more flavour, a bit more depth and intensity, a little light for me. But maybe to make a gluten-free stout, that's what you have to do. Okay, coming to the end of the pint. It was like the third or fourth through the line, so it wouldn't be perfect yet. The pub actually only opens at 4, so I'm glad I turned up 45 minutes late, because you don't want to have the first ones out of the pub. I'm going to have a Guinness now, and I will bring you a brief description of that after I've had the initial sip for Instagram. Some of you keep writing about this, but I am not a superhuman guy who can go to 4 pubs and review 4 pints of each, 16 pints. I don't think you could either, so it's the next best thing I could do. And of course, you know, Muttonistas, you get the full deal with me. No taking an initial sip and leaving a pint, no pretending to have a sip and not having one. I drink the whole pint each and every time. Okay, Muttonistas, moved into the beer garden now, because there was some music being played and everybody had to be quiet, which is fair enough. And I am with Thomas and Pato from Isby na HÉireann, who are sometimes people who play here. In fact, we're doing before I cheekily grab them away. Very, very strongly regarded band, so I hope you get the chance to look at their work. Anyway, how about my handiwork here, Muttonistas? I did bring you the full part of the first pint, but the problem is now, having 2 pints at each pub, I have to give you sloppy seconds on the second one, because my Instagram reels are important as well. And some of you don't understand why. I am not a superman, as I said. I can't have 4 pints at 4 pubs and review them accurately. Anyway, just look at that. If you remember, I came to the Cobblestone on one of my tours of Dublin, and it was the best on that particular day. I'm not saying it's the best I've ever had anywhere, but it is mighty fine. And this one is an absolute creamer. Gosh, just think of all that muck I was having in parts of Asia. This is the real deal. Anyway, about 2 hours late, after I finish this, I'll be moving on to Grogan's. So, next up, Muttonistas, Grogan's. Very famous pub. I've no idea why I've not got round to reviewing it in the past, and a lot of you have told me, apart from their excellent Guinness, that they do a pretty good pint of Murphy's as well. So I'm going to try the Murphy's first. There's only so much of it I can take. I know I haven't had one yet, but then I'll try the Guinness later, of course with the proviso that the initial sip will have gone. It's absolutely rammed in there, I think, because it's rammed outside, some Muttonistas waving to me, but I hope I can find somewhere to film from, maybe with the Muttonistas outside. We'll have to see. Hi. Yeah.
Nice to see you. Pleasure.
Pretty warm in here as well, isn't it?
Right, Muttonistas, in Grogan's, and I seem to be the only man on the Murphy's here, but a lot of you did say it is a good pint, so I'm here to try it out, of course. Most of the people, as I said, are on the Guinness here. I'm going to try one of those afterwards, but let's see how this is. It's not my favourite stout, it's the least favourite of the 3 big ones for me. It is quite nice, but it's got that sweetness which I really don't like, so I'm going to struggle to get through quite a few of these today. Okay, Muttonistas, working my way towards the end of the pint. I have to say it's nothing special, but given the reviews that people are giving me of the Guinness here, which I'm going to try next, I believe that is special. So I'll get this down my neck and give you sloppy seconds again on that pint of Guinness. And Muttonistas, before we leave Grogan's, we have to talk about the Guinness. Of course, I've had the initial sip for the Instagram review, but it's been drunk into form by the whole pub here. And it is an absolute creamer. Okay, I'm not going to say that it's the best pint of stout I've had anywhere in Ireland ever, but it does get that top level accolade for sure. Anyway, on to the Bankers, where I'm going to try an independent stout that I've never had before, Clockwork Stout, and we're going to have a bit of food as well. Right, Muttonistas, pub number 3 of 4, the Bankers. Now, I'm coming here to try a stout I've never ever tried before, Clockwork Stout. Thankfully, the brewery have been in touch with me and they've set something up here. Going to have a bit of food as well, as I just said a few moments ago, and I'm looking forward to this because, you know, Muttonistas, I am big on reviewing independents because sometimes they can be very good. And if you think about it, Anspach and Hobday London Black in Britain, it's an independent, but it's my preferred pint here. Will I say that here? Well, given the Guinness is so good, probably not, but let's hope I'm going to get a creamer or an absolute creamer anyway. Right, Muttonistas, another pub I haven't been to before, the Bankers. Lovely interior here, very, very busy, so obviously it's going to be a good place, especially since I hear a lot of Irish accents in here. I'm trying now Changing Times Brewery's Clockwork Stout. Again, one I've never had before, but it's been built up big time to me, so I'm looking forward to trying. So on the initial taste, it's good, it's creamy, it's refreshing, but the barman did say have a second gulp before making an assessment, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's good. It's very slightly coffee heavy as opposed to the traditional Irish stouts like Guinness, but I quite like that, I have to say, and I'm going to call this a creamer. I really do like this, and it's a lot cheaper than a pint of Guinness. Okay, Muttonista, so we're getting down to the bottom of the pint, and it is important to remember that sometimes pints change towards the end of it, and this one definitely so. I am getting a little bit more coffee than I expected, often the case in English stouts, but you know I like that, but it's still retained its cream to the bottom of the pint. And given the price, wow, this is incredible. Again, short lines here, and the bar manager did inform me that half the pub is on it, and he wouldn't have been able to believe that 6 months ago that half of the pub are drinking this new independent stout over Guinness. Anyway, Muttonistas, I shall finish this, have a quick slurp, and move on to pub number 4. Right, Muttonistas, final or penultimate stop on my tour, depends on how fit I feel after these 2 pints. Cassidy's Westmoreland Street, not a pub I would have normally vlogged, except that last time when I vlogged the Beamish before I went to China, a couple of Muttonistas met me in the streets after Bose and said, come over here, come over to Cassidy's. I ordered a Guinness, which was quite good, and then the staff said, try this, try the Murphy's, and it was exquisite. If Murphy's could ever be a creamer in Dublin, this was the place. So let's hope that wasn't a one-off, and hope that it is now being drunk into form by the punters here, because it's another busy night, even though it's a Tuesday.
I thought they didn't have a Murphy's top. It's like you're going to be very disappointed.
Okay, Muttonistas, Cassidy's Westmoreland Street with a Murphy's. Now, this place has quite a good reputation for the music, but in my opinion, the beer as well. I've already had this here, and doesn't this look a beaut? Doesn't it look like an absolute beaut? One of the Muttonistas had tried it and said it's good. I've had it before a year ago, and it was a creamer, nay, maybe an absolute creamer, but only one way to find out whether there's any consistency here, Muttonistas. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. In terms of categorisation of Murphy's in Dublin, this is definitely an absolute creamer. Much better than the one I had earlier in the day. I'm looking forward to having a second one of these in a few moments. A lot of the flavours you get in an Irish dry stout are actually here. Apart from the sweetness, I'd say it's actually quite well balanced. Anyway, Muttonistas, I'm glad my sobriety is held up, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be mean on you tonight. We're going to go to Bowes and have that last pint, even if it means me slurring my words all over the place. Okay, Muttonistas, don't tell me that I don't put the hard yards in for you. I am at Bowes now on Fleet Street in Dublin, and it's no surprise that most of my videos here end up here because it is a quality establishment. I remember that growl that the barman showed me when I was talking about Beamish last time, but now they serve it here, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. Anyway, it's windy, rainy. What would you expect in Dublin in April? Let's go in and give it a try, because I reckon if they keep their Guinness so well, they'll keep their Beamish well as well. Can't promise you a review on both because my sobriety is going a bit, but then again, you wouldn't be surprised, given that we started the vlog at 5 in the evening and it's now 11, that things are slightly turning a little bit intoxicated. Okay, Muttonistas, is this the holy grail of this video? Beamish in Bowes. For so many years I'd been here and it was just Guinness, and I suspect their Guinness is beautiful as ever, and I'm going to finish off the vlog with the sloppy seconds of that pint of Guinness that I filmed for my Instagram. But in the meantime, let's give this Beamish a go. I love the smokiness, I love the smoothness, I love the creaminess.
He's definitely getting the advanced news. It's just kind of like,
oh, Canal, it has it all. Not a surprise, this is a fantastic pub, is Bowes, and in terms of their Beamish, they've served me up an absolute creamer. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know if I'm going to love the Guinness as much, because this Beamish does leave that smoky aftertaste on your mouth and tonsils, but if this is anything to go by, I suspect the Guinness will be up to its usual standard. Wow, I'm so glad they've decided to serve Beamish here, but let's save the end of the vlog for the Guinness review, because I think that'll be the pièce de résistance. Drinking beautifully right down to the bottom of the glass, and I'm going to finish off the vlog, Muttonistas, and I really have put the hard yards in for you with an excellent pint of Guinness. Well, I suspect an excellent pint of Guinness. I've been looking around the room, looking at the cream flowing everywhere, so I think we're on for a good one to finish the vlog off. And finally, Muttonistas, onto the Guinness here at Bowes, one of the best destinations that you can find in Dublin in terms of Guinness and other stouts and beverages. I mean, beautiful ambience here, great lighting, selection of whiskies and everything, and most importantly, the stout. I've had some good Guinness tonight, I've had some good Murphy's, I've had some good White Stag, and other beverages like Clockwork, but for me this is the one. I've already had a slurp, and even though I'm several pints in, I recognise what quality this is. This is an absolute creamer, probably the best pint of the night. I love all the other stouts, but I suppose when Guinness gets it right, or the pubs get Guinness right, it is the best. Anyway, I'm going to have to love you and leave you here. Very impromptu vlog at the end of my Asia tour. Slipped in as many pints as I can, and I'm glad my sobriety held so I could bring you as many as possible. Please remember, of course, to keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, but most of all, Muttonistas, don't miss those absolute creamers, and don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.